Great guy. He's president and CEO of KBS Constructors, a commercial and industrial construction company specializing in construction and management services in mission criticals and sensitive environment type projects such as data storage, food grade and pharmaceutical facilities. A few local projects include, among other things, Hill's Pet Nutrition Capital Federal, the Charles Kerr State Office Building, BNSF, the Cyrus K. Holiday Building, and Core First. A Kansas native, Dane grew up on a farm in Garnet. He received his business degree from Kansas State University in 1978, and later his master's degree in business from Washburn in 1987. 2 years later, Dane co-founded KBS Constructors. Dan kickstarted the company with help from the Washburn Small Business Development Center, and the partnerships that he built with the SBDC turned into lifelong friendships and business relationships. He is a past president and longtime board member of the Associate General Contractors in Kansas. He served on the board of Midland Care for 8 years and serves on advisory councils for Kansas State and for Washburn. KBS formed a foundation in 2009 in order to give back to the communities that they support. They have a particular affinity for helping charities that support children, especially children who are chronically ill or dealing with mental or physical disabilities. KBS was the presenting sponsor of the last 2 traveling zoo exhibits at the Topeka Zoo, building the exhibit enclosures for the penguin plunge and the alligator frenzy. They also partner with St. Francis Foundation in supporting the Children's Miracle Network. Dan and his wife Monica have 2 sons and reside near Lake Perry. Please help me welcome to campus, Dan Foltz.
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's a real honor to be asked. I told several people here that I answered yes pretty quick because I was afraid they'd change their minds. Washburn has a special place in my heart, and it certainly has a very strong influence on our company, KBS. So I promised them that I'd stay on time and get you out of here by 8:30, so we'll proceed. But I really have only about 3 items that I'd like to share with you, and we'll have time for some questions, and if you have any, before you get to your day jobs. But that's really a quickly review the story, a little bit about me and about the relationship with Washburn and the KBS story. And then I want to make a few key points about what we consider really core in our organization. That's the concept of lifelong learning and why that's so. And then finally, I want to just share with you a management structure that we adopted a few years ago, just a couple of years ago, called open book management. That is a definite management style, and is how many people in the room are familiar with open book management? I see my table. Well, you listen up. You may like it, you may not. It's not for everyone. But anyway, that's what we have in front of us today. Usually you start with a joke, and I didn't really have a joke I knew that would fit everything, so I thought I'd just show this picture, and it should get plenty of laughs. If I can, there you go. Yes, that guy on the left is me, and high school graduation 1974, Garnett, Kansas. Grew up on a farm east of there. My family farmed. I was the youngest of 8. We also ran an 8-lane bowling alley and a restaurant, so there was never a lack of anything to do, that's for sure. And the sad thing about that picture is that my mom convinced me to cut my hair before I got it. That picture to the right is the 13 years later graduating the MBA program at Washburn, which was very special for me. And my wonderful supporting wife was taking the picture, so if you're not in the picture, and she's in the red back there in the corner, if you want to give her some recognition. The youngster, you can go to MBA and raise a family. And my wife had a wonderful career in pharmaceutical sales. We both worked, we raised a family, and I got an MBA, but she told me that if I was going for the doctorate, it would be the big D, so I stopped at that almost 2-year-old I'm holding there is also a graduate of Washburn. Paul, our oldest son, went on to get his MBA and a law degree here, so graduated just a few years ago. Coming out of K-State with a business degree in '78, I was hired by a small construction company here at Sept as an office manager. I spent 10 years there and really learned how, and it was really a great apprenticeship. I really learned how businesses work. Until you get into helping people run a business, you really don't know at that level. But what I didn't know is, I thought was a short-term job. I really kind of fell in love with the whole concept of construction. I'd worked construction during the summers in college for a contractor in Kansas City. I knew a little bit about it, and by 10 years, it was the stars were lining up to take the plunge and start a new entity, KBS, with the strength of knowing my wife had a good career, we had good benefits, the risk was there, but it was manageable, and so we did so. While I was working at Sept in the early 80s is when I went to Washburn and got the MBA degree. What a wonderful program that was. It was perfect for me at that time. Some great instructors. And I got to tell a story on one of them. I walk into the class the first day and I sat on the front row, which I normally don't do. And the instructor come in and took off his jacket and turned to the students. And there was Washburn, S-O-B. And I thought, oh, this is going to be fun. then he kind of like pulled the rest of his shirt down and it said School of Business. And that gentleman is Jeff Unger right there.
Want to see it again?
But truly, that really prepared us to move forward. And also, when we did start KBS in 1989, the Small Business Development Center was really helpful. Dave Kavanaugh was providing free services there. Went on to be a major accountant in the community, and his firm is still our accountant today. I remember one thing from the MBA program in the early 80s is I could go to work and work on when we had a major project that I was leading in changing an accounting system from manual books to the first computerized accounting system. So I could go to my class at night and quiz them about, okay, this is what we're doing, what do we do next? So it was really handy. And of course, I don't know how many of you recognize an IBM PC. That was the first computer that the company started out with. But the timing of the MBA education with that major project was really helpful. Here's how you start a company from the humble beginnings, I guess you'd say. That top left was my suitcase computer, compact, that looked like a suitcase. When you took the bottom of the suitcase down, you had a keyboard. And that ran our accounting. We threw in our family truck, an F-150. Up there on the right, we had assembled what I thought that was the key to starting it was assembling a group of people that were dedicated to make it happen. And I knew I needed the construction management and construction field experience. So Neil Fisher joined us with project management and estimating experience. And Terry DeLugosh and Dave Hayes, field superintendents, joined us right away. So we had the core team to cover with me on the business side. And we started in Neil's basement of that house there on Mountain View. In the lower right-hand corner was the first job that we ever did, which was for Southwestern Bell Telephone on Winding Road out there by Jason's Deli, I think. And that is a small switch room for Southwestern Bell Telephone. And now today, 27 years later, we have 80 associates in our company. Annual revenues are 35 million plus. We move around between 35 and 50 million over the last several years. And we had the great benefit of having wonderful relationships with many companies, those that you see there. Several of those are master service agreements that we've worked with for years and do many projects a year for. So that's really the beauty of developing relationships in those organizations, is that you get to meet a lot of quality people. And as David mentioned, in 2009 we established the KBS Foundation, and we put a percentage of our profits in that to support the communities that we have offices in. And we have offices, our home office here in Topeka, we have Kansas City, and we also have Manhattan. In order to keep on time, we've recorded here a slideshow of several projects and a little bit of narrative, so we'll just show that now.
Charles Curtis State Office Building in Topeka, Kansas. The Armed Forces Reserve Center at Forbes Field in Topeka, Kansas. Performed a 6-year strategic alliance contract for AT&T in the states of Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma, totaling over $30 million. Hills World-Class Pet Nutrition Center Research Campus Expansion, Topeka, Kansas. 2 manufacturing plants for Hills Pet Products, one in Topeka, Kansas, and one in Emporia, Kansas, where we perform a great deal of construction management and craft work inside these facilities. Inside pictures are proprietary, so we do not expose them. A new locomotive load test facility for BNSF Railway in Topeka, Kansas. Food grade manufacturing critical environment construction production line expansion at Hudamaki, the manufacturer of China and other food containers in DeSoto, Kansas. Capitol Federal Natatorium at Hummer Sports Park in Topeka, Kansas. Construct a new maintenance operations center at Iatan Power Plant, Iatan, Missouri, north of Kansas City. Construct new security entrance and security systems at the power plant at Iatan, Missouri. Construct a new jail and judicial center at Westmoreland, Kansas for Potawatomi County. Construct a new building for elephant handling facility, Topeka Zoo, Topeka, Kansas. An addition of an outdoor hippo exhibit expansion and giraffe holding pens, Topeka, Kansas. Construct a new outdoor orangutan exhibit at the Topeka Zoo in Topeka, Kansas. Renovations to install new tomotherapy and cath labs at St. Francis Health in Topeka, Kansas. We have completed 3 significant projects at Morris County Hospital, including this addition at Council Grove, Kansas. Renovating the entire 5th floor in Kansas City for the ophthalmology clinic at Children's Mercy Hospital. Build out a new vascular surgery center in Shawnee, Kansas. Construct a new senior living facility in Manhattan, Kansas for Meadowlark Hills, and major renovations of their existing facilities. A complete interior renovation and HVAC upgrades for CenturyLink Phone Company in Gardner, Kansas. Examples of telephone switch rooms and data centers where we regularly perform work. Additional pictures of telephone switch rooms and data center environments. Major interior demolition and renovation, removing a waterfall inside corporate headquarters for CenturyLink in Gardner, Kansas. A new church, sanctuary, and educational facility at St. Bernard's Catholic Church, Wamego, Kansas. Build out of new corporate offices for Aratana Pharmaceuticals, Kansas City. Trinity Baptist Church addition, Wamego, Kansas. Shawnee County Jail, new kitchen addition, Topeka, Kansas. Historic preservation of the Hayes House, Council Grove, Kansas. Assisted with the construction management and construction of Bartlett and West Engineering's new building addition in Topeka, Kansas. Jeffrey Energy Center Office Addition near St. Mary's, Kansas.
Well, that gives you just a little flavor if you hadn't had an opportunity or never had reason to know what KBS did and where we do it. We work regularly throughout the states of Kansas and Missouri and are licensed in the 6 additional states to go serve these utility companies when we go farther out. But that gives you an idea. Next, I'd like to move along to the next slide. Thank you, Susie. And talk about lifelong learning, because it's really near and dear to our hearts at KBS. When we started the company, and the MBA program taught me a lot about total quality management, which is really about training your people to take away and not need any kind of inspection system that's added cost. You train everyone in your organization to be responsible and function well, and that increases your efficiency. So education from day one, we've started our own KBS College in 1990 with the help of K-State's Engineering School, and we do 4 major seminars a year at KBS for everyone in our company, industry topics and people development skills. So to grow a company, it's the people, and you need to invest wisely, and I think many of you in this room really understand and know that. One key component in 1999-2000, we actually moved our craft apprenticeship program in-house. We trained some of our people to be instructors, and we have conducted and developed a certified, Department of Labor certified 4-year apprenticeship program in-house, because we needed to train our craft people to work in these sensitive areas. So we take the curriculum that was developed, add to it all of the sensitive area training that we need to have a highly skilled workforce. And through the years, we've really collaborated well and have really enjoyed a relationship with Washburn Tech, helping with construct some of their facilities, but really collaborating with Dr. Farley and Clark Coco. What a great asset that has grown to be in our community, and it's really the future of the economy. And I think most communities are starting to realize that, and we've got a step ahead of a lot of them, and we need to stay a step ahead in that regard. Just a few years ago, about 3 years ago, we put together the idea, and we had to develop the skills in-house, and again, we certified in-house instructors, but we have moved the supervisory training program that was developed by the National Association of General Contractors, 141-hour curriculum in-house, and we teach that to our superintendents in-house. Our first class had 11 graduates, and it went very well, and we're looking forward to the next class. We normally run about 20 projects, so we have approximately 20 superintendents, and this is middle management experience and expertise here that's really valuable to growing people. And one thing that becomes obvious as you start to think about perpetuation in your company and succession planning is really you need to have dedicated leadership development within your firm. And I know many of the companies represented here have great leadership development. Well, as soon as I realized that, hey, we really need to put together our curriculum, it's under construction right now. We're developing a leadership program, and one of the first people I talked to is my friend, David Solers, and said, hey, here's what we're trying to do. He shared with me a wealth of good ideas, but that is what we're doing now, is we're putting that together and hoping to kick it off in January 2017. Next item and final item today is I'd really like to share with you our experience over the last 2.5 years with open book management. What is open book management? It's called the most important management trend in the country. The definitions of OBM vary, but it's generally accepted to include the following components. You're sharing the income statement and balance sheet with all the employees. You're sharing other data with employees such as productivity and plant utilization, quality data, so you provide everyone in your organization with all the valuable information they need to think and act like an owner and to develop business skills. Encourage employees to use the information in their daily work, take ownership and every day on the job. And it includes training employees to understand the financial numbers, sharing the financial results, through a gain-sharing program. And I say it's not for everyone. It is very much a culture that is a very powerful, but it is a major step if you've not operated under this scenario. And there's great companies around, including Washburn's School of Business and Leadership here, that are familiar with open book management and are great assets to look into that. Almost anyone can be taught to be a business person and a leader. Open book management is a way to help associates build confidence in becoming business people by running a repeatable system built on 3 principles. And the key there is a repeatable system, because you really have to be consistent in your processes and send a consistent message. But number 1, every employee is given the measures of business success and taught to understand them, so you know they need to know them, and you need to teach the rules. And it's financial rules as well as productivity rules, and then every employee is expected to enable to act on his or her own knowledge to improve the performance. It's called follow the action and keep score, and you do that a number of ways, but you involve everyone in your company in developing what we call them crew games, or goals that they define themselves when the job starts. They have all the information, they have the estimates, they have the estimated hours, so they create jobs and set goals to beat the estimate, and also to maintain high quality and maintain, when we do a closeout interview with our clients, that we get these scores back. So the idea is that we maintain high quality and also great productivity, and that helps the company and helps everyone in the organization, because number 3, every employee has a direct stake in the company's success and risk of failure. So you provide a stake in the outcome. And this is what we found really particularly interesting with one of the consulting firms we use in open book management, is how they encourage us and how they set up a template to design a bonus program in the organization that is truly based on factual numbers every month that everybody knows. And if today, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn, but if we have 80 employees, most of them, 75%, 100%, you could walk up to them and ask them, can they calculate their own bonus any day, and they can do that. That has become powerful in our organization because they know what is really happening. And it is a very educational opportunity for them to realize, quite frankly, how skinny our profit margins are. But open book management, here's some examples. The company performs best when its people see themselves as partners in the business rather than as hired hands. Southwest Airlines, Harley-Davidson, Home Depot, and getting more notoriety recently, New Belgium Brewing. These are all open book companies that you may have heard of. And we use a national consulting firm to help us with some of the information and help us put that together, called Great Game of Business. They actually have an annual competition, an annual convention, where practitioners from all over the country attend to learn more and share with other practitioners of open book management. But also they have a competition every year for companies to submit an application with a lot of data and a lot of information. And then they have several categories. Rookie category is those that practice open book management less than 2 years. Middle term practitioner, less than 5 years. Those that have been practicing for 10 or more, they have applied for honor in the Open Book Hall of Fame. We were given the opportunity to submit, and we did. And we put a team together, many of them right over there. If you guys y'all raise your hands, this is a team that really implements a lot of open book management in our company, and they put together a wonderful application. And out of all the applications they got across the country, we actually won, which was a great testament. So this is the video that they made. It's a very short video about every winner of all categories, but we got Rookie of the Year, so we'll play this little video now.
KBS Constructors, Topeka, Kansas. KBS needed a way to create a unified team. The company was struggling to find a way to bridge the gap between office staff and field employees. At times, it felt like they were on different islands. Since they decided to implement the Great Game of Business in January 2015, they've bridged the gap to become a fully connected community. KBS opened their books and started including each employee in the company's weekly playbook that is distributed to more than 20 job sites. They share mini-game results, safety information, future projects, and of course the company's financial forecast. Open book management has helped their employees recognize what it means to think and act like owners. In addition to being encouraged to get involved and ask questions, team members willingly discuss the numbers and talk openly about where the company is heading. KBS admits that the first 6 months of practicing open book were rocky, and the transformation didn't happen overnight. They've seen record profits and were able to fully fund their bonus program for the first 2 quarters of 2016. Employees continue to learn more about the business and now understand that open book management allows each person the ability to make a difference. Congratulations to the 2016 Rookie of the Year, KBS Constructors.
So it's really been a good system for our company, and there are definitely bumps in the road, and it takes determination by a large group of people to share that and to spread that approach. But it is really being accepted and helping our organization a great deal. But with that, I'd just like to say thank you for letting us share a little bit about me and my family in our early days, and also our philosophies around lifelong learning and growing people at KBS, and to share with you, our experiences, the short that they are, with open book management. And thank you all very much. I appreciate it. And we have time for a few questions, maybe. I made it late.
Dan, I have a question. How has rapid changes in technology affected the way you do your business? Aside from the management side of this, how has technology changed?
Yeah, how the rapid change in technology has affected our business. Construction is an industry that has been slow to change. I mean, we still pour concrete like we did 40 years ago when I started pouring concrete in the summers. It took a great deal. There certainly is advances, but probably Google Earth has made a really significant change in the ability to sell work and to do it rapidly. We used to take, how long did it take us? It took us weeks to get people proposals and to figure out what they wanted to do. We do quite a bit of design build work. You can literally go in and to a trusted client, sit down, and they can say what they're thinking about doing. You can draw it up on Google Earth. You could probably drop in a building, and you can measure the square footage, and you can use your concept numbers, and you can probably give them a budget in a matter of hours instead of days or weeks. That's a significant change on the front end. There's been good technology changes in the use of some equipment with lasers, GPS, and so forth. What we're seeing that is an emerging trend is the ability to do the building information modeling, which is the 3D modeling, that becomes so detailed in their computer models that it automatically just kind of transfers over when the building's complete to being a building information management system for the staff that run the building. And if you're talking about a major office building or something that has a lot of elaborate systems, all that information on every piece of the equipment is instantly right there, rather than taking weeks to get it together and it be in a manual situation.
Great.
Yes, sir.
With your management system and the open books, how do the other factors that are non-financial, like employee safety and product quality, how do you work those in your system?
How do we work employee quality and safety into our open book management system?
Non-financial metrics.
Non-financial metrics. It's really a culture, and so all of those things are just as important, or maybe even more so important than the financial metrics. We spent a year. How we implement it and deploy open book management education is we have a steering committee and a team that weekly puts together a weekly what we call a playbook, KBS playbook, and it's all about educating about several things. And we have a staff meeting every Wednesday morning at 7 o'clock. From 7 to 7:10, that team puts together a recording because we're on a conference call with maybe 20 different job sites, and we have a recording for 10 minutes that goes over our playbook and explains whatever we're working on. Then we have we always had a good safety record. We have a wonderful safety record now. We just celebrated 1,000 days without a recordable or a reportable accident. And we're still, we went all last year without a reportable accident. And safety is one of the measures on there. We give feedback on all the productivity crew games in that bulletin that goes out. We give financial information. We give sales goals information. We give feedback from customers. We do a post-project review, and that we do a 10-minute drip every week. That's how we start our meeting. And then we do our staffing of our jobs in the next 20 minutes, and then in the next 30 minutes we review all our projects or at the project management level, and we're out of there by 8 o'clock having reviewed 20 or 30 projects. So that's the mechanism we use. Then we have our quarterly meetings, all company, and you've seen a lot of pictures there, and they include all of those things in a more in-depth. We usually meet from 3 to 8 and serve dinner in the middle of that. So that's kind of how we deploy it. But you're absolutely right. It's very much a culture. It's not just sharing the numbers. That's just one piece of it. So thank you for that. Yes, sir.
I was wondering, what would you suggest might be a good first step for a company that is considering implementing the open book management system? You mentioned a company that you worked with to get that off the ground.
Oh, what we've learned about Google is the first step is Google. Open book. I'm not kidding you. And the consulting company, we use it, but I've also had great collaboration here at Washburn and with their staff about open book management. They're very familiar with it, and that was another great source here locally. And so Google, and there's a ton of videos of companies operating open book management that were probably taking place to educate their own people that they share online on YouTube. It's all really interesting stuff, and so that'd be where I'd start. And that's actually when we got first introduced to it. That's where you went. And there's one of the early practitioners that's very, very famous in the open book world wrote 2 books, and they're magnificent books. We bought about 50 copies of the first book and shared them with everybody, and went through the book in our drips. And it's there's a lot in there, and then from there you kind of got to figure out how you implement it at your firm, because that's what's important, is you have to own it, and you have to make some major decisions. Our board actually studied it for almost a year, because it's not something that you want to take lightly and half implement. I don't believe you won't get the results that you're looking for. Good question. Thank you. Anything else? Again, thank you. It was just a wonderful opportunity. I'll turn it back over to Ms. Hoffman.
Dan, we've got a token of appreciation for your time today and the time you're going to spend with the School of Business. So again,